Jupiter Ketu was a happy time with her family. Ketu is here conjunct the 7th house, and it's manifested by Mercury. Ketu's lord Jupiter is conjunct the 5th cusp, and so during a Jupiter Ketu, she was optimistic about her marriage and also spent a lot of time with her baby. And all in all, this was an enjoyable time with her family. Jupiter Venus. Now the Venus Antardasha is always times of making major decisions. Venus is about weighing pros and cons, making a decision and sticking to it. Venus here rules Saturn. And previously we have seen that it was during Jupiter-Saturn that she met her husband. And so something important will also happen here in Jupiter-Venus. And during Jupiter-Venus, they decided to get pregnant again and have their second child. We can see that Venus rules the 7th from the Karaka Jupiter, which indicates conception. And Venus also rules the 9th house here from the Lagna, which is the 5th from the 5th, which can give children. Now, ideally we look for house cusps to trigger the event, but sometimes you will see that the 4th sign house does it too. And so here Venus rules the 9th house and can give childbirth during Jupiter-Venus. Now, when you're not sure, then you can always go back to the D1 to get confirmation. And here we see that Venus is strongly placed in its own sign Taurus, and most importantly it is conjunct the 5th cusp. Now let's go back to the D7. In the D7 we find that Venus is not aspected or conjunct any planet and therefore can't manifest a child by itself. And sometimes you will see that astrology just doesn't follow the standard procedure. We have already seen that Saturn is exalted in the 7th from Jupiter, and Venus rules Saturn. And so here it is the exalted Saturn that manifested Venus's indications. So how did this exactly happen in a Jupiter-Venus? Well, nothing happened during Jupiter-Venus. Venus, again, doesn't have the capacity to manifest. Jupiter-Venus-Sun, the Sun here is not connected to Venus, and so nothing happened during Jupiter, Venus, and Sun. Jupiter, Venus, Moon. Well, Venus and the Moon are connected through their mutual lord Saturn. And she conceived her second child in Jupiter, Venus, Moon. So sometimes you will see that the Lord, who rules both planets and who is a manifester, can pull together those two planets and make an event happen. And the exact time that the conception happened was during Jupiter, Venus, Moon, Saturn. Right? So Saturn here pulled together Venus and the Moon and enabled the conception. And all of them have an agenda for conception. Jupiter rules the 7th house. Venus rules the 7th from Jupiter. The Moon is the Darakaraka, and Saturn rules the Darakaraka, Moon. Okay? And so Saturn here basically manifested a conception by bringing together Venus and the Moon and by having manifestation power. She gave birth in Jupiter-Venus, and Jupiter-Sun followed. The Sun is here conjunct the 4th house of home and the 9th house of children, since it's the 5th from the 5th. And the Sun is a minor separator as it sacrifices personal needs for a greater sense of duty. And so during Jupiter Sun, she actually spent less time at home with her children because she had to redirect more of her time and energy towards her professional responsibilities. We can see here that the Sun rules the 2nd and 6th house of income and daily work. And the Sun is also here well placed in Jupiter's sign, which is a natural friend sign. And so she considered her family responsibilities and, making money as a higher purpose, gave her great fulfillment in contributing to the family stability through her work, even if that meant making personal sacrifices at home. Next came Jupiter Moon, which was a transformative time for her. Moon is her Dara Karaka, representing the husband. It's also conjunct the 8th house of profound changes and the 12th house of closure. The Moon gets manifested by Jupiter and its lord Saturn. And so we can understand that the changes will lead her to a better place in her marriage. She and her husband were reassessing their long-term goals as a family and were seriously considering having another child. In general, Jupiter-Moon period loves to give children, but in her case, she already reached the age of 44 and it became too late for her to have another child. She had her first 2 children at the age of 39 and 42. And with Rahu and Ketu across the 1st and 7th house axis in the D1, delays in getting married and having children is common. A person feels a strong urge to find themselves first before they want to make a commitment. And so what exactly happened now? In her case, in Jupiter Moon, well, they came to a mutual understanding that as much as they cherished the idea of having another child, it was time to close that chapter once and for all. Next followed Jupiter Mars. Now, Mars rules Jupiter and is manifested here by Mercury. And during this time, they did a lot of different activities with their children. We can also see here that the 3rd house is involved and they got their children enrolled in schools so that they can learn instruments. They did a lot of other fun things with their children. They visited amusement parks and at times also invited their friends over and had a great time all together. And finally, we come to the end of Jupiter Dasha, Jupiter Rahu. And Jupiter Dasha changed her life forever. Never could she have imagined to be with a guy that she actually loved and have a beautiful family with. And it all happened thanks to Jupiter, who gave her so many wonderful experiences and moments that she will never forget. And now in Jupiter Rahu, the time has finally come to focus more on herself again. Rahu is in the 1st house and is in a 6A position to Jupiter, and so this creates some internal tension. She finds during Jupiter Rahu that she needs more time for herself and less with the family. She feels a sense of restriction and confinement when she can't get time for herself. And so Rahu really pushes her to again focus more on herself. And Rahu in general brings changes and pushes us to grow beyond our current structures. And here in the 1st house, she feels stuck when she spends all day with others and she needs time for herself. She needs the freedom to do what she wants to do and what she thinks is best for her.